We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Swear to God, I want to fucking choke all y'all. Hey guys, this is Jody with the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast. We're back on another night, living it up, living it strong, having a good time. We got an interesting topic to talk about tonight. You know, honestly, it's just me. I get my fucking rocks off thinking about numbers, the economy, and all that bullshit. Not to get political on you or talk about politics, but motherfucker, I get hard as shit thinking about what the whiskey world and economics all do together when they marriage together. But hey guys, what's in your glass?
Well,
cheers, fellas.
Cheers. Tonight I'm drinking Elijah Craig Barrel Proof from a store pick. It's a 10-year and it's 127.5 proof.
Nice.
Dig it.
1792 sweet wheat.
Oh,
Nice.
Is that the one I sent you?
No.
Stag,
That's
130.2.
long gone.
Nice.
Which
that was
batch
long.
is that? 130.2. Is that 16?
15, I think.
15. Nice.
Believe so.
I was
Rob,
hoping
what you drinking?
Chuck McLaughlin would be able to tell us because he's like the calling it. You know,
I think it is 15.
I thought it was 15 as well.
I believe so.
Just doing some simple Weller this evening. Weller Special Reserve. Stomach's
Nice.
a little upset, so going low proof.
There you go.
I'm drinking something. Go ahead, Billy. Go ahead.
A little bit of Penelope, and be good to yourself, gentlemen.
That's
There
easy
you
for
go,
you to
there you
say,
go.
dude.
You've obviously already been drinking because you're like having some Penelope.
This is
Man is enjoying his booze. That's all.
yeah, that's right. I think I started earlier. Poured one out for Mal. I'm drinking. This is called. I'm going to mispronounce it. Connemara. It's a peated Irish whiskey. So Jody's
Ooh.
out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
absolutely.
I like this quite a bit actually.
I'm
Because it's
out.
not. It's not too heavy on the peat, on the palate, on the nose. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's my jam. Probably nobody else here.
When you were a kid and you went fishing with like your grandpa or something like that, did you
Eat the
like?
worms.
Well, I was not going to say eat the worms, but you know how like when you do the night crawlers, you get some of that shit on your fingers, and like people would have,
Was
you
that
know,
like?
yeah, like what they normally would a bag of potato chips, something they may lick their fingers afterwards. After you put a worm on the hook, did you sit there and just like start licking your fingers?
No, I didn't. I really didn't.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
just curious. Okay. Well, guys, and me, I'm having, actually, it's my dad's birthday and it's Mal's birthday. So happy birthday to Mal and happy heavenly birthday to my pops. And there's several other people out there that I found out today online that have birthdays. One of them's George Butler. He's one of my friends from high school, I believe.
Yeah.
It's his birthday as well. So happy birthday to everybody.
And my father and my son
There
a
you
couple days
go.
ago.
There you
Seven.
go. All right. So, I wish I could turn on some music and turn the lights down a little bit so I could get completely off on this. But let's talk about what the market's doing when it comes to the bourbon world. It's more about I truly believe when I say the administration, we are talking about the Biden administration, but I'm not going to say anything bad or pick a side on this. Just going to give you the facts on it. So they're wanting to change some of the regulatory laws to inspire more competition and stuff like that. All right. And you really see this probably in the biggest factor is probably in the beer world, since two of the largest companies have captured 65% of the total market, and we as consumers, I should say you as consumers that buy beer, have paid in excess of $438 million worldwide for your beer. That's ridiculous. But is it going to have some trickle down, we'll call it, to the whiskey world, or is it going to have some trickle down to the wine world or vodka or the other spirits that are out there? Are we going to see that? I'm kind of curious if there's really even a real necessity in like the vodka world, the gin world and stuff like that to square up, the industry. Because what I've always learned from the gin world is definitely newcomers to the bourbon communities or whiskey worlds. They start with one of those so they can have product moving all the time. So I'm not really sure that's going to really generate much change in your gin, maybe even your vodka. But I am curious about the bourbon aspect, and I am curious about the beer aspect because, in the bourbon communities, for example, definitely up there close to like Bardstown and, along the Bourbon Trail here in Tennessee with the Tennessee Trail, Whiskey Trail and stuff, definitely in Tennessee, they're really encouraging these artisan style type of, microbrewers or micro distilleries, we should say. And they're really popularizing it here in Tennessee. And much of the, Kentucky Bourbon Trail are really working with much of the locals to help generate the small businesses to help them grow and stuff of that nature. So what are you guys' thoughts about it? Good idea, bad idea? Don't think it goes far enough?
I think anything to help grow small independent distillers is good for especially the bourbon world. I mean, when you look at the likes of Sazerac, who owns Buffalo Trace, who and that whole family tree, the Brown Formans of the world who own the Jack Daniels, the Heaven Hills, which have endless amounts of lines under them.
Right.
Anything that we can do to promote and grow the smaller businesses to get that regional thing going. I think I talked a little bit about it last week, looking towards regional distilleries, and hopefully they, as they get themselves established, they start to get that older product. And one of the things we talk about is the younger product that they have to put out to get product out there.
It's kind of like spirit equity. It's like a spirit equity initiative. Not to have equal outcomes, but equal opportunities. Which is the true definition of equity. Even playing field. Maybe that's where this is transitioning to. Don't get me wrong, it started from the fallacious aspect of getting onto beef producers and stuff of that nature. 85% of all of our beef comes from China. So we need to get off that argument. So it's there. We said it, it's done. Let's talk about the bourbon aspect though. When you're looking at this equity type movement, I don't know that it goes far enough in some aspects. I would love to see state laws change to where our local retailers had to sell it at MSRP.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have those kind of regulations over here. However, for the consumer, I would say that in general, on the whole, competition is good for the consumer, because it can drive prices down. Whether they're competing for the market, but it's not just that. It's use of local produce to manufacture. It's new ways of doing things, and essentially a new product, something that hasn't been tried before. I can't see it being a bad thing per se in any aspect really. Initially, I mean there will be negatives somewhere down the line.
the negative aspects for definitely the larger organizations would be anytime you regulate competition and to allow more people in the equity type of movement here with spirits or beer or whatever the commodity might be, you limit exploration, the trying of new ideas, to try new ways of maybe to get a different type of product out there that might be more innovative, or maybe in an innovative way of producing it or something like that. Because what does that do? It drives up cost. But if you can't get as much of the market as you used to have, then you have to
craft brewers. Yeah, craft brewers and craft distillers sort of the push new ideas and new ways of doing things, and as I said, new or different ingredients, if you like, locally sourced, etc., etc. So I wouldn't have seen that personally over here. Certainly, I don't know about in the States, but over here certainly it's seen as a positive. Really,
I think beer is a little bit different because its shelf life is much different. When you're looking at bourbon, you can't really take shortcuts. I mean, we've all had,
of course, no, I would know that. Yeah,
yeah, we've all had whiskeys or bourbons or whatever that are just too young, and they're too upfront, fruity, and all this nonsense, or have the what is the ethanol taste to it, and this stuff that you don't like. Beer can do it a little bit different with local microbrewers and stuff like that doing that. And don't get me wrong, I do think some of the new innovative tricks they're going to see in the bourbon world are going to come from the artisan style distillery and stuff like that. I really do believe that. But the large organizations that have a large manufacturing budget and have that may be operating on thin margins, maybe operating on high margins, who knows? All right. I'm not looking at their financial statements at this moment, but if you were, and let's say that this is actually going to cut into potential revenue opportunities where they were maybe using some of those gross revenues to experiment and new ideas and new innovative ideas to deliver a product, they're no longer going to do that. So you're going to take one portion of that pie away in innovative aspects. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
go ahead, Rob.
So and I was just looking at something on Google. So if you think of even companies that aren't necessarily whiskey companies, Bacardi. If you look at the lines that Bacardi owns, Bacardi owns Angel's Envy. They own Dewar's, they own Aberfeldy, they own a pretty large Scotch portfolio. And with was it Heaven Hill just acquired Widow Jane.
Yeah,
I actually seen that. I think Chuck McLaughlin may have posted that a couple weeks ago or a week ago.
But
and few as well. I posted.
Yes, I knew somebody posted. Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah.
So they're
some of the
growing
opportunities
their
that may be there for some of those smaller distilleries, like the distiller blender from Widow Jane, to get her hands on the Heaven Hill rick houses to maybe play around with some blends. I mean, there are some of those kind of opportunities I see in some of those purchases, but is it taken away from their ability to kind of be their own thing?
Paul Lecco, who's the master distiller at Few, is buzzing. He sees it as a positive. He's in the British Bourbon Society group, Facebook group. He's a very active member, really friendly guy, top class fella, and he announced it on the group, which is where I got the information from, and everybody was congratulating him. It wasn't like a hostile takeover kind of buyout. Your small fry, we want you, buy you out kind of thing. It was amicable, and he's happy about it. He sees it as an opportunity.
That's cool. But now there are some negative drawbacks to leveling the competition. That means there's going to be less than adequate competition out there, like Good Times, for example. That's obviously one of Chuck's favorite.
That's right.
And honestly, I hate to even say this, probably 2 weeks in a row, but Jack Daniels is the largest. Just, I guess they have more product on the market probably than any other company. Are they going to end up pulling some of their, when I say pulling, are they going to pull back in some of their areas, making it more allocated to try to find stuff like Sinatra or the new 10, 12, 15 years? I think they may have an 18 as well, but I can't remember. But, you know, are they going to make those more sought after in some of the communities? You know, like that's another thing, another way you can look at it too is, are some of these companies going to pull back some of their allocated products because now you've cut into their margins by leveling the fields? I think a lot of this also comes from the whole, they may be doing a lot of this because of the bottle shortage too. I mean, there's also that one.
Yeah, I agree. And,
Yeah.
you know, you have Jack Daniels and they're putting out, and a lot of companies are doing this where they're pushing limited editions. Jack Daniels, you have what the most recent, the Coy Hill. Then you're going to have, we recently saw the 10-year. Now we're going to see what, a 12, a 15
and 18.
and then possibly an 18. Yes. So I see the limited edition stuff really being pushed. And I see, you know, of course that's allocated and it draws people in, and then it makes people want to go out and buy the barrel proof products. You know, I just heard that they are not going to continue on with the Jack Daniels Gold. I believe
really?
it's the 27, is it? Whatever that number is, they call it. It's the Jack
it's
Daniels
number-
Gold is going to be discontinued.
It's number
What's that, Mel?
28, Chucky. Number 28.
Okay, thank you. That's going to be discontinued. I guess it's had its run, and now they're going with these other, you know, 10, 12, 15, 18. Coy Hill next year will be something else.
You know,
And I
I'm
see
sorry.
a lot of that with other companies as well, doing the same thing, following suit. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, all I
Jody.
was going to say is that none of this in the bourbon world, no matter what they were to impose today, is not going to affect probably any of that we're going to see in the next 4 to 5, 6 years.
Yep.
That's just to be honest with you. It's
Right.
not going to affect any of us. And the reason why is because bourbon has to do what? Has to age.
That age.
So they've already got stockpiles and prepared for all this nonsense and this, that, and whatever. So all of this could be turned around, flipped, or whatever, and it may have zero effects. The people who are going to be truly affected by it, quite honestly, the only people I think, because I don't think there's that much of a discrepancy in price point and competition in the vodka and the gin world and stuff like that, I think it's going to be the beer companies. I think you're going to start seeing these microbrewers become staples, larger staples across the world, probably because, I mean, I should say across the United States and then across the world and stuff of that nature. And the reason why I say that is because that's almost an immediate change in practice.
Mm-hmm.
We're already seeing that over there, Jody.
And here in Florida, let me tell you the way it works. When it comes to beer, all the major brands out there is really, it's controlled by the distributors. So here in Florida, there's about 4 or 5 distributors that control all the beer. I actually used to work for one of them. So the company I used to work for, if you wanted Heineken and you were anywhere West Palm Beach all the way down to Key West, you could only get it from them. If you only wanted Corona, you could only get it from them. By law, you can't even buy it from anybody else. And of course, the other distributors have from West Palm Beach up. Now, here in South Florida in particular, the craft beer is so big that the big guys can't even mess with them because the restaurants need them. Because if you walk in and you want J.W. Whitman, you can only get it from J.W. Whitman. So that's a good thing. As far as the bourbon goes and other spirits, because there's no real regulations here in Florida, you can sell your stuff for whatever you want. So, you know, it's all a matter of if you can get your hands on it. So what I think happens is these distributors, when it comes to the bourbons, even the wines and things like that, they tend to put them in a place where they know, 1, they sell, and 2, the people can afford it. So they're not going to put, you know, even something like an Eagle Rare, they're not going to put it in hood because it's not going to sell. Nobody's going to pay even $45 for it when they can get, forgive me, E&J for $25. So that's just the way it works. So Eagle Rare is not going to be in the middle of Liberty City. It'll be Palm Beach, it'll be Aventura, it'll be North Miami Beach, of course, South Beach, things like that. But if you go to South Beach and you happen to find a bottle of Eagle Rare, it's going to be every bit of $125, only because they know it.
But that's a different aspect that's wasn't really addressed in the article that I'm relating to here, because store inventory, it should be more demographically segmented. All right. And what I mean by that is, though I have found some really good picks in the hood markets, and I don't know if that's an appropriate term or not, but I know you say it is, but we've all experienced the last 2 weeks of the Joe Rogan saga. So
there's things we can say and there's things we can't say. It's just
we've had this conversation.
we have approval on hood. Okay.
Hood is good.
all right. Anyway, so the
there's my next tattoo.
so when you're looking at who you're inventorying to, or who you're producing to, or who you're selling to, when you're sitting back there ordering your next inventory, you're going to definitely select for your demographic, your segment of the group. And it's funny, I was having a very interesting conversation about that this week with my sales and service class, because we were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden I had brought up a commercial as an example, and they all looked at me like I had a fifth eye or something. Like, what the hell's going on? I had four because I had my glasses on, so like I had a fifth eye.
I was going to question that, but I got it.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and and I'm like, so when they like, I was asking about the Subaru commercial, I was trying to explain to them what affinity programs are and stuff of that nature, and trying to explain that to them. And anyway, I was talking about Subaru. I'm not going to get into that because that's a lecture that not really a Barcast type of lecture. But what I found interesting, which would go part of this topic, was they don't watch the news on TV. None of them had cable. They all stream stuff. None of them had Facebook, which that was an interesting story. I think David and I talked about that this week. That was within the local Investopedia pages and stuff like that recently, that Facebook, it was determined that they lied. Yeah, they lied to their investors, and they lost already 26 million accounts in the last 3 months. They can actually they can forecast to where that last account is. Like, what I mean by that is, just say it's 18 to 28 year olds are leaving Facebook. That means if you're 29, that's the last account. So if you were to forecast that out from today, you would see when that last account is, knowing at some point your business is going down. All right. So I was like, this is interesting. So how do you guys market to each other? How do you guys know what to buy? And they started talking about those reactionary videos and stuff on YouTube. And I was thinking, man, that's fascinating, because that's such a cheap marketing plan. Like, I just pay you, like, for us, they said, hey, look, some company distiller is like, hey, look, guys, bunch of shitheads. Here's a bottle of whatever, fuck. I want y'all to drink it, talk about how much you love it, give you a reaction, make it as close to honest, but lie completely, make us look good. And here's $10,000 a piece.
Social media influencing.
Yeah. And you're using what's influencing. You're just an influencer at that point.
It's exactly that. It's a big thing with celebrities over here. I don't know about over there, dude.
Same thing. We have TikTok and stuff. They do that nonsense. And then also Instagram and stuff. Yeah. Oh, I don't know about Snapchat. I don't have that because I don't want to get lost in that nonsense. But my point being is still the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is.
I think the demand, or the interesting take on definitely some of these newer people, because they're all started by what? Much younger population. Why don't they get involved in those type of things? That way they drive their own competition up and set the demand for themselves. You see what I'm saying? That would be a fascinating approach to take.
Mhm.
So long story short with them, their final project is I changed it on them. That gave me a sales presentation, but they have to include only how they're going to market to their population. Because I want to take that information and then go write a paper on it because that's fascinating to me. You know, I know my nerd just stuck out, but I mean,
Actually, I'd be very interested in that information because I got to know how to market to that age demographic.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Colleges, universities I run.
yeah.
Social
Well-
media, dude. Social media. That's where
And
it's
here's
all at.
and the biggest thing is, so I'm not into TikTok, but I have to be into TikTok only because as a business owner, you have to reach all the clientele that you can.
Yeah.
Because what happens is people share your content, they share your page, and you get people interested in you, interested in your products. So whether you like it or not, sometimes you guys see when I post something, I have to post it in like 6 or 7 different places, but it pays off because
Absolutely. I like
I've
your
had-
fan mail segment as well, because when you repost the fan mail and that's getting the word out there, isn't it? So
Absolutely. And I've been approached by a couple of companies to, look at certain products, and I'm just like, I don't use it. So I'm not going to lie for you, because the one thing I've learned about social media, that the people have to believe in you. They have to believe you really live that life.
Yep.
So when people see me with a cigar and they see me with bourbon and they see me out here with the smoker and everything else, they're like, no, this guy's about that life, and they ask questions. Where'd you get this? How do you do this? So people, and it's crazy, but I am an influencer, because people be like, well, what are you smoking? What are you drinking?
Yep.
And it's wild because the audience that you reach, I can look at the analytics for my website and I can see what countries have looked at my website, what time of day, how many people. And, now I have everything that if you click on it on IG, if you click on it in TikTok, it drags you to the website. Even when I post my videos on YouTube, I post the link on YouTube, on Facebook. So when they click on it, it automatically drags them to my YouTube channel. So it's one of those things now. Listen, universities, hospitals, car dealerships, even this development that I live in, they have a Facebook page.
Yep.
So social media now is a big thing. If you think about it, back in the day, if you had to buy a magazine ad or a billboard, how much it would cost you. Now that stuff is free, so you have to use those tools.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Real quick
If you
with that.
if don't, you get left behind. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say really quick with that. You also we're seeing that with mainstream media. So as an example, Kevin Hart, who's probably right now the top comedian in film.
In film, I agree with you.
Yeah,
but,
in film here, he's
I don't
probably
know
top
that
comedian in film.
Chappelle isn't the top comedian right now, because he's
Well, in terms of stand-up, it's Chappelle. No one's touching Chappelle right now.
No.
well,
But
except for his local city government right now.
that is funny.
Yeah.
But that's a different
hilarious.
topic. That is so funny. But so what Kevin Hart does with his, and he now has other people doing this, what Kevin Hart has written into his contracts with the studios is there's a set fee or a guarantee that he's going to post this film in his social media, and you're going to give me another $500,000 if I put IG, $500,000 if it goes to Facebook, etc. If it goes to
The
Snap,
Rock
and
does that too. He
Yeah,
controls a lot of his marketing through his PR person.
Yeah,
And he does a great job with it too. I think he
Yeah.
probably got that.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say Kevin Hart probably got that from The Rock.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, those two been they're partners now. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, that's a thing now. That's an actual revenue stream now. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to get X amount on the back end. I want this much up front. Now, you don't have to spend marketing dollars. So I want those. I
Right.
got 50 million followers. If 50 million people if I get 10% of that 50 million to view the trailer, and then 10% of that comes to the movie, that's an additional X amount of millions of folks that are coming to see this film.
Yeah, looking at
project.
the data points on it, I agree with that. What I found fascinating about that, marketing wise, because that is the practice. That's definitely the new standard of practice that's going to take place, and that is, you know, with YouTube being a hub already for you to be monetized. So if you have a huge following already, you're already being monetized. So you have some leverage there with the marketing company as an individual asset to the marketing company or the organization or whatever. But even at that point, that cost for you to market that via as an influencer is still minimal. I mean, definitely when you think about like
just fingers,
the Super Bowl this weekend, if when it goes on.
Oh, you can't say that word. You can't say those two words together because they'll come after us, right? Has to be the big game.
The big game.
Has to be the big game.
Okay, I don't watch much professional football, so
is this like the artist formerly known as Prince kind of thing? Like you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do they do with
the bull? Formerly known as Super.
So real quick, an innocent question, real quick. So how does it become? So is this big game 1 instead of Super Bowl 57 or whatever what number we're on?
Here's the way it works. The NFL owns the term Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to use it publicly, you have to have their permission or you pay for it. So if you notice, all the commercials you'll see will say the big game.
Oh, okay.
The big game.
That's the way that works. So if you say it gets flagged. I mean, we're so little that nobody kind of find us. But let's say if an influencer had a couple of million people and they said it, they would definitely, absolutely. It's like,
well, then I think they'll get the trademark on the big game then.
Well, so for instance, you guys see my YouTube videos. I tend to play Pandora in the background.
Right.
So I have to put a clause in there when I do the description that I don't own the rights to the music, because you could hear 4 or 5 different artists. And because I'm using the music, even though it's in the background, I have to make a claim that that's not my music.
Yep. That's funny you say it, because Instagram got me one time. Like several years later, one of my videos I had where I was lifting. I don't remember what I was lifting, or what type of movement I was doing, but it was one of my workout movements. And I had some band going in the background. Well, for the purposes of this, we'll say it was, Seven Dust or Metallica or something like that. And I get like this notice that says, and it was so generic the way it was written. They said, "This isn't you." I'm like, the hell, it isn't me. The fuck, that is me. Like, I am absolutely lifting this weight. That is me. Go look at all the rest of the pictures.
How dare you?
Yeah. I totally went straight from being a normal person to straight in, a narcissist. Like I'm a CEO of some company, went straight into that because what they meant was, if I had to slow down and stop taking it as a personal attack at me, that's not you on the music. You don't own that right. And so
I took a video of the bar for one of the home bar groups on Facebook. I took a video and I had one of my Spotify playlists, and I think it was like Kenny Chesney or something like that playing, and that flagged that up, and it said a portion of this video will be posted in mute or in silent mode because you do not.
I've been done
that
way before.
Yeah.
I've been done that way. When we first started our show.
Yeah,
that used to happen all the time.
That, yeah.
Because I would take music. Rob, we talked about this. But no, when we first started our show, that happened to me all the time, because I would always take, when we did Dysfunctional by, what is that, Tech Nine does that or something?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, it was like an intro video or a trailer or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they freaking said, "Hey, this isn't yours. We're gonna demonetize you." I'm like, "For what? Like we have like 4 viewers."
they don't care. Yeah, you have to go through this whole stupid petition process.
Demonetize us. We're okay.
We have 4 viewers.
That you have the rights.
3 of them are me.
The thing I was gonna ask about the saying like not the big game, but the other one, because I'm
SB?
worried about. Yeah, that one. That like
Sierra Bravo.
if you are engaged in something that you are standing to profit from and you're using like, you know, other trademark stuff, that's usually the issue. But like if you're not making any money and it's all free, like you're more likely to be okay. That's my understanding of how that goes, generally speaking. But
Just
I don't know.
when you-
I don't know
when you
if the
say
NFL is
just-
different about it.
When you say it, just put a pause between super and bowl.
There you go.
Let me tell you, the biggest people who will get you, if for some reason, say you're having a kid's birthday party or a sleepover, and you're filming your kids doing whatever, and there's Disney music in the background, they will pull your video down within hours. Like there's a whole team of people for Disney that just sit there, and this is what they do.
Sometimes it doesn't take hours, dude. Sometimes it's like minutes. Minutes.
Yeah.
It's It's crazy. They must have like a robot or something like that monitoring it.
Can you imagine being that person though, if it was a person, a real live person that had to listen to everyone's nonsense?
I think
I hope they're one of the 12 people that follow us.
I would like that job. I would
There'd
like that
be
job.
a lot of drinking involved in that, Jody. There'd be a lot.
Exactly. That's why I would like that job.
The one organization that I know that there's actual people doing it is TikTok, because they will flag you with a community guidance. They will not only mute your video, but you won't even see it.
So how did that woman that you posted in the after show make it through TikTok?
That I don't know. That is part of the reason I sent it.
Well, here,
Like, wow.
I got a question though, because I've seen like on TikTok and shit. So it's like people will do like if they're doing like costume makeup tutorials where it's like they'll play a song of like I watched one today. It was
Why are
like
you
Nightmare
watching
Before
makeup?
Christmas.
Okay.
I just explained the Halloween shit.
Because he needs.
I know you're gonna break
Joey,
my. I knew
obviously.
you're gonna break my balls about it anyway. That's fine. But they're playing like songs from Nightmare
Non-binary
Before
David.
Christmas.
Oh man.
Fuck you, Jimmy. What is your name?
What's your name?
Ezekiel.
You better not be saying something about my mom.
Lord of mercy.
But anyway, that shit doesn't get pulled. I see that all the time. So like, how does that not get pulled? Because that's
Well,
obviously
I've noticed
licensed music
what
that
they
haven't
do is
paid
on the
for.
bottom of TikTok, and I don't have a TikTok account, so I can't speak like I know TikTok, but I've noticed on the Instagram TikTok videos, down at the bottom, on the bottom right, it shows music provided by, and it gives the name of the artist and stuff like that. So I think that's how they get by with it.
Well, because they provide the music.
Oh, okay.
And when you post it from TikTok to another platform, their little watermark is moving around on the video. So it
Is it like
kind
a
of
temp? Is it like a temp? Sorry, but I was going to say, is it like a temporary license kind of deal?
Yeah, basically.
Sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw something up about a week ago, and I just pulled it from my phone, and this is actually an international song from Trinidad, and it got picked up. It says, "Oh, we know who that is," and so it changed the way I had it listed to the way the artist officially has it listed.
Right. And the reason they do that now, because artists get what they call streams. Now, for every time that video plays and their music is there. So if I put
you got to cut
video
the royalties.
Yeah, and the length of time as well. Yeah.
So if my video got, let's say, 11,000 views, that artist gets paid for each and every one of those views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now imagine that one sound bit that's 30 seconds being played 18 million times a day.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, guys, we've talked up a storm here about some really interesting aspects. And my glass is empty, so I'm gonna have to fill another one for the after show. But
I'm still drinking Stag, by the way. So
there you go.
Just to let you know.
Well, we were talking about something I want to talk about. I had to have both hands free so you couldn't see either one of them. Thank you. I
don't
appreciate that, Rob.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, sure. But it's shaped like a tuna can. Anyway, guys, all have fun. All be safe. Love your families.
Love you guys.
You know, whatever.
Hey, love somebody else's family.
or yeah, or significant other. But hey, what I want you to do is smash the like button and subscribe. All right.
Yeah.
But until next time, be safe. Love y'all.
Thank
Love
you
you
for the
guys.
birthday wishes, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony! Fuck you, Tony!